Time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. They say good fences make good neighbors. But what about friends who tear them down with lies, or in-laws who bulldoze them with generational entitlement? Today in the rLounge, the truth is, the people who need to be kept at arm's length are often the first to breach the gates. Up first, if you can't check your secrets, side relationships, or moral compass at the door, don't bother knocking. Am I the a-hole for taking away my friend's +1 because it's with someone she is cheating with? I, 28 female, and my 26 female fiance plan on getting married later on this year in August. We're having a small wedding, guest count of only 50 with family and close friends, so most people know each other. The problem comes from our one friend we will call Jan, and her +1, Mac. Jan and I have been friends for about 10 years, and Jan and Mac have been friends since they were in high school, but I met Mac through Jan during college about 7 years ago. So all three of us being friends, originally I told Jan she could bring Mac as a +1, so that with the small wedding, she would at least know someone there. She knows other college friends, but just has been a while since they have all talked. Now the problem is, since us telling Jan she can have a +1 that was a friend, Jan and Mac have since started a relationship. For context, Jan is a lesbian and Mac presents as straight and has never dated a woman. No big deal with starting a relationship, right? Well, the problem is Mac was already in a relationship with a guy we will call Corey. Mac and Corey have been together for 2 years and just had a baby a year ago who is now 1. Jan knows this as she is the baby's godmother and actually babysits sometimes for them, driving from hours away to do so. All the while, Jan and Mac are having sex in Mac and Corey's home that they share while he is at work, taking trips together for their birthdays, and even spent the holidays together because they are best friends, and Corey has no idea because he doesn't know Mac is into women and presents as a straight woman just hanging out with her lesbian friend and childhood friend, so he expects nothing. Everything I know about what Mac and Jan have done, Jan has told me as a friend, and also my fiance over calls, and my fiance has mentioned that she's playing with fire and they both need to stop. They have taken a birthday trip with 2 other friends last month and acted as a couple the whole time, holding hands, sex, posting photos together again as friends, but since I know they were having a relationship, it is obvious posting as a couple. Jan said she loves Mac, and she asked Mac if she will ever leave Corey, and Mac has now mentioned that she loves Jan and Corey, and it's complicated because she has a baby with Corey. Now the thing is more complicated than expected. My fiance and I together have decided it would probably not be best to have Mac now as a +1 because we do not condone their relationship. But also, if them cheating comes out, we don't want them being in a relationship or dating at our wedding being a thing, as it is really just completely disrespectful to him, who we both have met as a couple maybe twice. Our wedding is out of state, so they plan on making a whole trip out of coming together for the wedding, so basically being a couple for that time and cheat. Am I the a-hole for taking away her +1? It just feels wrong to me, but I do also doubt they would be super out with it at the actual wedding itself. Let's see what the community does think. First up, you should really tell the guy whose life is a lie about what's happening around him, and then disinvite both friends. Why would you want cheaters at your wedding? Someone else chimes in, it's understandable you don't want drama at your wedding, but if you don't condone your friend's behavior, perhaps the more mature thing is to have a chat with your friend, because at the end of the day, you can't control your friend's actions. If you've outgrown the friendship or feel Jay is revealing her true colors, that is the bigger issue than who is her +1. Best of luck. The OP replies, I definitely will need to have a talk with Jay. Not sure if I would with M at all. I've expressed to Jay not being okay with it or wanting to be around all of them in a setting anymore because I have been around M, J, and C as all friends before, but now I couldn't do that at all. Update. I tried to add my first post to this one, but didn't know how, user error. Just updating because the situation is frustrating. For a quick update, I had 2 friends, Mac and Jan, sneaking and having sex while Mac is in a relationship with Corey and has a 1-year-old with him. Jan is invited to my wedding and gave a +1, but took it away once they started cheating. Jan and Mac are women, and Corey is a guy who he also doesn't know or think Mac is into women. Anyways, the update. I sent a message to Jan about needing to talk and about how I felt we didn't want that at our wedding. Jan called me and mentioned I knew about it before and thought it was my friend's idea to uninvite Mac. Even after explaining no, and this is a decision made by us both, Jan mentioned understanding and not having Mac, but attending to support us. The end, right? Wrong. Since Jan has been more distant, but a few weeks passed, and things kind of went back to us sending memes, making jokes, etc. Then it turns out one of Mac's friends DMs on Instagram Corey and tells him that Mac and Jan are cheating. Jan calls me and basically accuses my fiance of being the one even though she was asleep next to me as they are actively talking to this person. She asked me to sneak and not tell my fiance but look through her phone, laptop, and all her stuff to see if she told any of her friends and to check and see if she has any apps. She wants me to sneak to do it to not raise flags with her. I tell her that it's not my fiance and we end our call. From then, she texts me asking me to still look and sends me an Instagram of the person they think sent Corey the message. Just a side note, my fiance has barely any social media, just an old Facebook page, but she hasn't used to upload our engagement photos 2 years ago and Marketplace. From this moment, I've just cut main contact with Jan. I told her it's not my fiance after she kept texting, and she has mainly been silent that her asking me to sneak and lie in my relationship just so she can continue to sneak and cheat in whatever she has going on is just disrespectful. So, she will not be coming to the wedding. As most people said in the first post, she should have been uninvited in the first place. So hopefully, I think this is the last update. No sign of if he actually knows they are cheating, but from the looks of it, they talked their way out of it. I won't be asking around to know because, just like our reason for not having them at the wedding, we don't want the drama. Thanks all who listened and comments on the first post. Jan was not a real friend in the long run. Let's get a reaction from the community. I mean, she's shown you her character. Why would you want that kind of character in your newly married life? Shake my head. The OP replies, yeah, her true character showed for sure. I had other people telling me to think on it because we were friends for 10 years, but I'm 28. I can make more friends that have better character than that and better decisions. Jan talking about marrying Mac even though she is with Corey? Still. It's wild. No thanks. You've invited Jan and offered a +1 back when things were different. Now she's bringing someone who's actively cheating on their partner and doing it under the guise of being just friends. That kind of drama has no place at a wedding, especially not yours. And the fact that Jan tried to rope you into spying on your own fiancé? That's not just messy. That's manipulative. You made the right call cutting ties. If she's willing to drag you into the fallout of her choices just to protect a secret, then she's not thinking about your well-being or your relationship at all. Would you still invite someone to a wedding if you found out they were cheating and using your event as part of their cover story? Let us know in the comments below. Up next, some people get baby books, others get unsolicited parenting rules from their mother-in-law. She's not just your baby. When I was pregnant a few years ago, my mother-in-law made a fuss over a lot of things. A dumb one was I wasn't allowed to refer to my baby as my baby. If she heard me refer to my baby that way, she freaked out and accused me of planning to not let anyone else hold the baby once she was born, and that I was going to not let her son or my partner bond with our baby. She would also loudly whisper to my partner to not let me hog our baby and to make sure he gets to hold her too. One time, it happened again and my mother-in-law went on and on about how I should be saying our baby every time. I said it made no sense since my partner wasn't even there with us. She then went on to insist that I should always refer to the baby as mine and my partner's baby. I said how stupid and unnecessary that is. Calling her my baby doesn't mean she isn't also my partner's baby, and when we are together, I do call her our baby. It obviously all fell on deaf ears. I waited 5 minutes and then asked her how she introduces my partner to people. In a confused voice, she said, I said he's my son? I immediately cut her off and matched her previous tone and energy. Oh, I guess he's not father-in-law's son then? He's only your son apparently? Don't you think that's a bit selfish? How can you say that? You're supposed to say he's yours and father-in-law's son. Did you even let father-in-law hold him as a baby? Doesn't sound like it. Mother-in-law kept trying to correct herself and insisted that's not what she meant by it, but I just kept going for a minute until she went quiet. We sat quietly for a few moments while she thought, and then sheepishly admitted that she's got the point. She stopped freaking out every time I referred to my child as mine after that. I wish my other issues with her were so easily solved. Edit. I don't think I mentioned, but we went no contact a while ago now. Life is much more peaceful. It's completely normal for a mom, especially a pregnant one, to refer to the baby as my baby. That doesn't mean you're erasing anyone else's role in the child's life, just a natural way of speaking. The fact that she turned it into some kind of dramatic power struggle is honestly exhausting. What's one completely unhinged thing your mother-in-law tried to enforce? Write it in the comments. Up next, just when you think you're out of options, the stars align, the court agrees, and bam, restraining order. Mother-in-law got her butt handed to her today. My wife finally cut contact with her abusive mother earlier this year. Mother-in-law filed for grandparents' visitation for our 18-month son like a dang fool. My usually stoic wife was in hysterics. I told her, let me handle this. I might sound unhinged, but bloody hell, I've been waiting to get even with that woman for ages. I hired a lawyer and gave them like 500 million texts, emails, and voicemails of mother-in-law abusing my wife, me, and even our baby. I knew I saved those for a reason. I used to read through them every so often just to piss myself off. I mean, there's hundreds of texts and emails threatening to call CPS and tell them that we give our son alcohol and now he has alcohol syndrome, that we starve him, and calling our son the R word just like he reneged his mother. Accusing my wife of poisoning our son, accusing my wife of being a drug addict because she takes lots of pills. My wife has MSI. Called our son dirty, half bred, I'm half Greek. I could go on and on for hours about the abuse we've endured from this lunatic. Mother-in-law literally wrote in her note to the court that we are starving him, neglecting him, and she's the only one who truly cares for him, and we told everyone lies about her. Apparently she had no idea I saved everything. Thank God the court knew she was full of crap, and they didn't sick CPS on us. We didn't even have to go to court. The judge slapped her with a restraining order after seeing all the texts and emails. It took 17 years, but the victory is so sweet. I don't blame you for rereading the messages just to stay mad. Sometimes you need the righteous anger to keep going, especially when it comes to protecting the people you love. And the fact that the judge didn't just deny her request but issued a restraining order without a full trial, that says everything. It's a massive win and well overdue. It's great that your wife has you in her corner. What's the most satisfying finally got my revenge moment you've had? How did it all unfold? And thank you for joining us today in the rLounge. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Until next time. And please put your chair back where you found it.